I'm Kerry. I've been practicing Jyotish and offering my astrological insights since 1999, trying to track what's happening in the sky and bringing it down to earth to see how it will affect us. I work with people individually as a counselor, a teacher, and a mentor also. Today, I'm going to focus on the week ahead from October 12th through the 18th. So last week, let's just review. Last week, my theme was we're moving from chaos to a plan. Hopefully that has occurred in your life. I hope that for you. So looking back, the reason why I really said that was Rahu is the chaos guy, and he has been flaming into Gemini and Libra from his spot in Aquarius, where he's very, very strong and capable. So when a chaotic guy is strong and capable, that could be leveraged for good, or it could also be very difficult. So with Rahu aspecting into Gemini, it is affecting the guidance and navigation that Jupiter offers. And it's also hitting Libra, which is right there, where Mars and Mercury are currently sitting. So Mars and Mercury are the plan part. They're the strategy and the plan and the lists, and let's get the resources in line. So with Rahu still aspecting into Libra, what I was hoping was that Mercury and Mars would be a little bit stronger. There's two of them. And Venus, what else happened last week was that Venus moved out of Leo and into Virgo. That takes a little chaos away as well. Even though Venus doesn't love being in Virgo, it's still, Venus is the ruler of Libra, where Mars and Mercury are trying to make their plans. And Venus was really caught up with Ketu last month. Ketu tends to be obstructive and blocking and make you change plans or stop things altogether. I mean, for example, last week we had a government shutdown in the US. It's still shut down. That's very politics coming to a grinding halt. That's a very Venus Ketu thing, especially in the sign of Leo, which is the sign of kings and government and leaders. So the last part of last week, we had Venus move over. So you can see up there that Venus is just in the early degrees of Virgo, which created a thing, right? It puts Venus right into opposition with Saturn up there as this weekend is ending and turning into the next week. So that's also something. The major things we have coming. So my theme for this week is, all right, we've got a plan. Now we have to start making it happen. I really think that Venus moving out of Leo and into Virgo is going to be helpful, even though Venus is considered to be debilitated in Virgo. Debilitation means the planet has to work harder to express itself. Doesn't mean it's dead in the water. It just means it has to struggle a little bit more. So the good part of it is that Venus up in Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury, is now a little bit more in the plan. It's able to actually do some enacting and doing and helping, because Mercury is the ruler of Virgo, and it's in Libra, which is ruled by Venus, which has now put these two planets, Venus and Mercury, the two inner planets, the planets that are in between the Earth and the Sun, they've come into what we call parivartana, or exchange of signs. So when two planets are doing that, they're located in each other's signs. It creates a nice bond, actually, between the planets. Even if they're not friendly to each other, they can at least become a little more capable together. Mercury and Venus are besties. So when they get into an exchange of signs, it suddenly feels like, oh wow, we can actually do something. I'm a little bit more motivated. I have a plan. I found my resources. I want to get going and moving. So with Venus moving away from K2 and into a parivartana with Mercury, this week at least we should be able to feel like, okay, that plan I had in place, I'm able to do this actionable step, and then that next one, and then the next one. And it may not go fast or flowing. Remember, our friend Saturn up there is aspecting Venus. So that's kind of like a directive of, hey, yeah, we are going to move forward, but it's going to be difficult. There may have to be things you step forward with and then back into and try to do a little bit of a change or a reorganization, but we can still start moving. So Venus and Mercury energy is very day-to-day practical stuff. What food am I going to eat? How's my health? Where am I shopping? Who am I hanging out with? They're social planets, and they are action planets. So all of that is good in the sense of the other part of things, which is I'm always looking at the moon during these weekly look aheads, because for the most part, the moon is the one that really moves. So our theme this week is we're on our plan. We're starting to move. But by the end of this week, I feel like we're going to be facing some big changes. The big deal is that Jupiter on next Saturday, October 18th, will be moving from Gemini into Cancer for just a very short time. I've been calling it the Jupiter in Cancer preview. So Jupiter in Cancer is exalted. Exalted is the opposite of debilitated. It means it's really great. So the big time of Jupiter going into Cancer will start next year at the end of May 2026. And Jupiter spends about 1 year in each sign. But on Saturday, the 18th, we're going to have Jupiter edging over into Cancer. And only for 3 weeks, a little bit more than 3 weeks. And then on November 11th, Jupiter will turn retrograde. And by the first week of December, we'll return back into Gemini. So from mid-October through the first week of December, we're going to have this a little bit of it's a major shift, honestly, but it's not going to stick. So my advice is watch out what happens during this time, starting in October 18th, for a few weeks or a month. Some things might come up. You might feel like planting a seed and going toward a goal, and it might fizzle. Okay, I'm just saying that it might fizzle because of the Jupiter thing once it goes retrograde and then returning to Gemini. But I don't want you to despair, because I really think there's a lot of information in what's going to be offered to us in the month between mid-October to mid-November. So even if whatever you're inspired to go toward doesn't manifest this year, please note how you were feeling and how excited you were and what seemed inspiring during this time, because that's the inspiration. It's saying, hey, get your ducks in a row so that you can grow this thing next year when Jupiter really, really, really returns to Cancer. So this week is the buildup. So by Friday, the sun is going to move out of Virgo and into Libra, and then Saturday we're going to have Jupiter starting up in Cancer, Saturday, October 18th. So that's what I feel like is this week is we're on a track, and then a bunch of stuff's going to change toward the end of the week. Okay, so let's just take a look at the charts here and go through day by day. What I'm looking at is this day that I'm talking right now, which is Saturday, October 11th. And you can see the moon is up in Taurus, and it's getting an aspect from Mars, and that will end after today. Tomorrow, the moon will be in Gemini. And what's interesting this week is that when the moon is in Gemini, for the first couple days of the week, it will get the aspect of Rahu. And then it slips into Cancer, and then it slips into Leo. and it gets Rahu again once it goes to Leo. So there's a Rahu theme this week. I'm going to advance us forward here until Sunday. You might notice I'm now looking at the chart from my location. That's what astrologers should really do. They should look at things from where they are. So October 12th, that's Sunday. You can see the moon and Jupiter are together up there in Gemini. The moon will be in the nakshatra of Ardra. People are liking me talking about that. Ardra nakshatra is ruled by Rahu, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury. And right now, Rahu is aspecting Mercury. So this is very quick thinking. This is very innovative thinking. It's fast and loose energy. So, it's going to be messy a little bit, right? From Sunday. So if you're feeling a little off track and a little unguided, maybe you'll start feeling a little more guidance as the moon syncs up with Jupiter, who is our big guide, the guru. All right, so that is Sunday. Moon and Ardra could be a little wacky. We'll see. And then I'm gonna go all the way to Monday. So Monday is interesting. Monday starts out with the moon and Jupiter pretty close, and the moon will go past Jupiter, and the moon will be in Punarvasu nakshatra. And if you read or listen to my monthly forecast, I talked a lot this month about the Jupiter ruled nakshatras and how full they are right now. Like Punarvasu is ruled by Jupiter. Rahu and Saturn are both sitting in Purvabhadra, which is ruled by Jupiter. And Mercury and Mars are getting into Vishaka, which is ruled by Jupiter. So there's a lot of Jupiter energy. And when I'm talking about Jupiter energy, it's positive, it's growth oriented, it's good stuff. It's about education and helping and law and science and divinity. So Jupiter's a very positive influence. So Monday morning, which is the moon day, the moon starts out with Jupiter in Punarvasu. So even though we've gone from chaos to a plan, it still might feel like we're not really sure what we're doing. Maybe things will become a little bit more clear. So the moon is our emotional, sensitive reaction to things. It's also public opinion. How do I feel about somebody right off the bat? Or how do they feel about me right off the bat? Or what is my view of what's going on in the world? These are moon-related observations. And so with the moon waning this week, so it's getting smaller, it's going to be a new moon next week, not this week, but next week. And that feeling of a little bit of chaos still existing in the mind could be there. So maybe try to find a separation between how you feel and what you're doing, because that Mercury-Venus parivartana down there really wants to help you get things done. And Mars too. The food, clothes, shelter thing is super important for that little combination. And I'm going to pause here for a second and just say Venus and in Virgo with the sun until the end of the week. Virgo is the natural sign of health routines, good and bad habits for your health, that kind of thing. I just find it interesting that the United States government really did shut down because of a health issue. That is really the main stopping point for for the one party, because they don't want a lot of people to lose healthcare. So that's just interesting. We'll see this week what happens with Venus actually able to perhaps work through and negotiate some things in the health realm. It could be for you personally too, that you're dealing with health issues, or trying to ignite a new health routine. Use Venus and Mercury's parivartana to stay on track and be motivated to do that. Okay, so back to the moon, the emotional part. So try to get your stuff done with Mercury and Venus's help, but also realize that your heart is really experiencing something and it does feel chaotic. And so do everything in your power to take care of your sweet, soft self as you navigate your day to day. Because this week the moon is waning and we always start feeling a little bit less energetic when that happens, and etc. And again, there's a little bit of a Rahu vibe on the moon this week. It starts out with moon and Ardra, and then and an aspect from the moon, and then by the end of the week Rahu is aspecting the moon as well. So do your best with trying to stay on track this week. Okay, and now so that was Monday. I'm gonna run us forward until Tuesday. Tuesday, we've got the moon in Cancer. And specifically in the nakshatra called Pushya. Pushya is ruled by Saturn. It's a very auspicious nakshatra. It's very good. So what I like about Tuesday is that the moon isn't with any other planets, and it's not even getting an aspect from any other planets. So if you suddenly need to just bail out and go take care of yourself, Tuesday might be a good day. Do what you can to settle yourself down, or just take care of yourself or somebody else that might need you. Okay, so that's I'm gonna keep going. Wednesday, moon's still in Cancer. 20 degrees 29 minutes means Ashlesha Nakshatra. That's ruled by Ketu, the serpent energy. Ashlesha is very wiggly and magical, I think, as a nakshatra. Again, being in Cancer, the moon isn't getting a big heavy aspect from any other planet, but it is still waning. And so there may be vulnerability as you navigate your week. So know that, and just go hide in the bathroom for 10 minutes and do some breath work. That's what we do. All right, this is Thursday. The moon gets to the very early degrees of Leo. And that nakshatra is called Magha. Magha is ruled by Ketu. Did I say that Ashlesha was ruled by Ketu? That was a lie. Ashlesha is ruled by Mercury. I don't know if I even said that. I'm so sorry. Anyway, moon in Magha nakshatra in the early degrees of Leo is ruled by Ketu. So Thursday, again, when the moon gets near to Ketu or any other planet, it can feel like a blocking, like, oh my gosh, I can't see. I don't know. I don't even know if this is my feeling or if this is somebody else's feeling. That's the kind of thing. But the moon in Magha, I think, is a directive to turn inside and think about the deep roots of you and what you're doing. So again, I don't know if you can just take the whole week off. Yay, go for it. But it does feel like a call to retreat in a way with moon and Ketu together. So even if it's just taking a half day off, or finding a bit of self-care or time to meditate or something like that, that really might help you straighten yourself out as you navigate the end of the week. So look at in the upper right corner, JP up there, Jupiter. He's getting really close to moving, 29 degrees 51. And then down in the bottom right corner where the sun is, 29 degrees 14. So we're just about to have all the things shift as the week winds up. All right, now that's Friday. Friday, you can see that the moon has gone over to Libra. I'm sorry, the sun. The sun has gone over to Libra. The sun is debilitated in Libra, doesn't love it. Venus rules Libra. The sun rules individuality. Venus rules community and togetherness and relationships. So the sun just doesn't love being in Libra. It's just one of those things. And we have a month of it, but it's okay. And the sun rules individuality and leadership and presidents and kings and governments. So when the sun goes into Libra, it might show that all of those things, governments, leaders, etc., are a little bit debilitated. Maybe they're at the behest of the people a little bit more. They don't like that so much. So anyway, let's watch how that goes. And also remember too that Libra is getting the aspect of Rahu. So even the sun going into Libra, debilitation is still, and it's also getting the chaotic, wobbly energy of Rahu. So that's something to think about as we go forward in the next month. Okay, and temporarily, for one more second, Jupiter is also aspecting into Libra, but that's going to end because we go to Saturday. And Saturday, we see Jupiter finally has gone up over into the realm of Cancer. So there's that nakshatra where Jupiter is, Punarvasu. Punarvasu covers the very last little section of Gemini and the first little section of Cancer. So the whole entire time that Jupiter will be in Cancer and then retrograde back into Gemini, it's still going to be in the same nakshatra the whole time, which is Punarvasu. Punarvasu is ruled by Aditi, the mother of light. So there's this kind of feeling in Punarvasu of returning light, of things rejuvenating and rebounding. So wait for it. Let's wait for it. Anyway, so that's next Saturday. So by next Saturday, I feel like a lot's going to happen this week. Either that gets us over a hump or grinds to a halt. And by Saturday, we're in a different kind of zone with Jupiter in Cancer and Sun in Libra. The other thing that I want to mention, that when Jupiter pokes over into Cancer, it immediately flips a script. And I wrote a lot about this in my October forecast, so you can go seek that out, or it's here on YouTube if you want to listen to it. But Jupiter in the very early degrees of Cancer will suddenly very strongly aspect Saturn up there in Pisces. And if anybody has early degree Scorpio planets in their personal horoscope, Jupiter's going to hit that as well. So it's the first time in a long time where we've had Jupiter aspecting Saturn. A long time, 5 to 7 years. So that's just an interesting thing for us. That's again part of the preview, because that'll really go into effect next year in late May when Jupiter moves into Cancer for a longer period of time. So anyway, that's our week ahead. Things are grinding to a halt with the moon as it's waning. Mercury and Venus are still trying to get everything done. And Jupiter's ready to show us a different story for the next couple months. So let me know what's going on with you. I hope these look-aheads are helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I really appreciate all of your comments, likes, and shares. It really does help me. So thanks so much. Take care, and I will see you the next time.